Hey guys, Marini here with another stats video. I started this video, OneNote crashed, had to start it over again. Those are the two answers to the do now. We could talk in the Google Meet further if you have questions on it. I'm going to scroll down here and show you how to do this example. All right, if you didn't get a chance to read it to yourself, you could pause the video and do so now. All right, so we're looking for evidence that AP Stat students in this high school have a higher IQ than non-AP Stat students. So in step one, just like we've been doing, we want to test the claim. All right, it's also important in there that you're talking about high school students in this high school. It's not talking about high school students in the whole country. Actually, it's not even in this high school. It's in this district. Okay, so null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. The null hypothesis is that there is no difference in the IQs, so mu1 equals mu2. And I'm going to go ahead and make AP Stats mu1. So the IQ would be greater than mu2. Now we got to label those. Okay, so now we got to go to step 2. We still have 2 samples of students. This is a 2-sample t-test. And first condition is that we have random samples, and we do. And the second condition is the independent, so a 10% condition. We're going to have to assume that there are greater than or equal to 10 times, let's see, the sample size for AP Stats. You're going to have to count them up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're also going to have to assume that there is greater than or equal to 10 times 10 students not taking AP Stats. All right, so 10 times 10 is 100. We're going to assume in this district there's at least 100 kids taking AP Stats and not taking AP Stats. Now, the third condition is normal. And since this is a means question, we use the central limit theorem. Sample sizes have to be greater than or equal to 30. But there's a problem with that. They're not. They're actually very small. It's only 10 students in each sample. So how are we going to use the central limit theorem and assume that it's a normal distribution? We're not. I'm going to write a little statement here. Since sample sizes are small, we're going to draw a picture of what each distribution looks like. So we're going to draw a picture for the AP stats. And then we're going to draw a picture for non-AP stats. And when I say draw a picture, I mean we're going to make a box plot. So the way that you would make a box plot is you would take, let's say, take data from AP stats, and let's put this into L1. And you should also take the non-AP stats and put that into L2. That's going to take some time, but you guys should all remember how to do that. And then to make a box plot, this can be something that we talk about in the Google Meet. If you forgot how to make a box plot, I'm not going to re-explain all that now. You push second y equals, make sure you turn stat plot on. You're going to have to do 2 separate box plots. So go to the 4th option for box plot. Make sure your X list says L1. Then draw the box plot. You could do zoom 9 to zoom into it. And then do the same process over again, but switch L1 to L2 and draw a box plot for the non-AP stats. If you do that correctly, the 2 box plots kind of look like this. So looking at those box plots, they don't really look skewed, and I don't see any outliers there. So I'm going to write box plots do not show skewness, so they show no skewness or outliers, so we can assume normality. So what's the whole reason I did this? The sample size was too small. How small? Well, it's smaller than 30, so I can't use the central limit theorem. So I drew box plots for each sample. If you need help with that, I can go over that with you in the Google Meet, no problem. Step 3. Now, step 3 is the formula step. Again, this is a 2-sample t-test, so it's going to be x bar 1 minus x bar 2 over So you might be saying to yourself, well, where the heck does x bar 1 and x bar 2 come from? They didn't give it to me in the problem, and where did the standard deviations come from? It's going to come from the calculator. What you're going to do is, if you already put in your data into L1 and L2, you're going to go back to 2-sample t-test. So stat tests, go down to 2-sample t-test, which is option number 4 in the calculator. And when you push enter on that, again on top it says input, data, or stats. And we've been in stats so far the whole time. However, we don't have the statistics. We have the data of each of the 10 students. So highlight data, and then it says up top, list 1, list 2. Make sure that says L1, L2. And then you go scroll down. It says frequency 1, frequency 2. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, actually. Okay. If you go again, I have my data in L1 and L2. So push stat, go to tests, scroll down to number 4, 2-sample t-test. I'm on data now. Usually you're on stats where you're typing in the stuff from the problem, but we don't have that. So go to data, make sure it says L1 and L2, and frequency 1, frequency 2, leave that alone. And then for the symbol, I have greater than, so leave that like that. Pooled, again, always hit no. Had a couple questions about that the other day. Pooled, hit no, and go down to calculate. And you'll notice it gives you, there's your T, there's your P, degrees of freedom we don't really need, and then here's X bar 1, X bar 2, standard deviation 1, standard deviation 2. That's what you're going to fill in your formula. So when it's all said and done, it should look like this. The p-value is very small, 0.001. Doesn't give us an alpha level to use, so we're going to use 0.05 to do the conclusion. Our p-value is very low, so it's lower than 0.05, so it is statistically significant. We do reject the HO, and we do have evidence to say that the average IQ of AP Stats students is higher than non-AP Stats students in this district. All right, there you have it. That's how you do a 2-sample t-test. If the sample size is small, I'll be in the Google Meet. Again, not Google Hangout. We'll be in Google Meets. Check Remind for the code. And if you didn't get my Remind or something's not working properly, let me know. And I'll see you guys in there at 9 o'clock.